When will Clash Mini go global? Well, we're going to be discussing that today because we got some new info that is pretty important to answering this question. But real quick, if you want to see more Clash Mini content, be sure to subscribe and leave a like on the video. I would greatly appreciate it. So on Clash Mini's channel, they recently released a new episode of what they call Small Talk. It's basically Clash Mini's version of a TV Royale or a Brawl Talk. And in this Small Talk, we got some very important information for the next update, which is update 8. Let me give you a summary of everything that was discussed, and there was a lot that was discussed. So the biggest thing that's coming in update 8 is a complete progression rework. And the way in which they're reworking it is pretty interesting to say the least. It's something that no other Supercell game has done. How this is going to work is that they are completely getting rid of power progression. In case you don't know what that means, power progression is basically the model that every other Supercell game follows, where you spend resources to upgrade troops or brawlers or defenses or whatever, and increase their stats to give you a competitive advantage. So what Clash Mini is doing is they are taking that and saying, no, we're not doing that. Whenever you unlock a mini or a hero, its stats will always be the same and you won't be able to upgrade them. So all players with all of their minis and heroes will be at a standardized level. So instead of progression coming through power, it will now be entirely cosmetic. There are now these things being introduced called sets, and with these sets, you unlock different groups of minis and heroes. These sets are kind of organized by skill, so that way the earlier sets that you unlock are more beginner friendly, and as you progress, the later sets that you unlock with later minis and heroes are more advanced. And so in these sets, you will still be upgrading your minis and heroes. It's just that when you upgrade them, it will be cosmetics that you unlock to go along with them. And unlocking these cosmetics and doing cosmetic progression will lead to other ways to enhance your gameplay experience, such as unlocking new boards. Also, they mentioned they are remodeling the shipwreck board, which is pretty cool. I'm excited to see what that looks like. And so this whole leveling process through sets will be in a new section called the gallery. And the cool thing about the gallery is that it will contain all of your sets and all of your leveling progress, but you will also be able to unlock daily passive resources through the gallery, so that way you can progress without even playing the game. And as you level up your gallery and increase the scope of what you have, you'll be able to generate more passive resources. So that's how I interpreted everything from the Small Talk. If you want to watch the entire thing, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. But now I want to share my thoughts about this and what I think it means for the global release of this game, because I have a lot of things I want to talk about. In terms of the whole progression rework, I have very mixed feelings. Most of them are positive, but I also do have some concerns with it at the same time. So let's start with the positives, right? Taking away power progression, I think, is a good thing as a whole. Power progression has kind of plagued Supercell games and has given them a reputation of being pay to win, especially more recently in Clash Royale and kind of in Brawl Stars as well, with hypercharges and things like that. So taking that element away in Clash Mini, I think will allow the game to be better perceived in the public eye at a bare minimum, which is a good thing because Supercell's reputation right now isn't the greatest. And doing progression through cosmetics, that's cool as well, because cosmetics are awesome. I know, especially in Brawl Stars, people love their skins, they love their pins. In Clash Royale, people love their tower skins and their emotes and things like that, and banners as well. So adding cosmetics, Clash of Clans sceneries, I can keep going. So adding cosmetics and things like that is really good, because I know the Supercell community loves cosmetics and things of that nature. I'm just really intrigued to see how the concept of cosmetic progression will be sustainable long-term for the game. Because if a person can be completely free to play, not have to worry about power progression, and then they can just do their progression through cosmetics, what would be their incentive to spend any money on the game at all? Because with the way things are right now, spending money does give you an advantage, and it gives people an incentive to where if they want to get to the top of the game faster, they can spend more money. But if that incentive to spend money isn't there, then how is the game going to make money? I still imagine there will be shop offers for cosmetics where people can buy skins for minis, emotes, and things of that nature, but I don't know how sustainable that'll be. I really don't know. I guess it will be sustainable to a certain extent, because there will be people that will always buy cosmetics. I am one of those people. I love cosmetics in video games, not just Supercell games, but in things like Apex Legends. I play a lot of Apex Legends. I love buying weapon skins and skins for my legends. So I guess there is a market for that. I just wonder how big of a market that is for the mobile gaming industry, because mobile and PC are two totally different things. I mentioned Apex Legends is a totally different market than what you're catering to with mobile. In concept, it's great, but the application of it is what I'm intrigued to see. So the next thing I want to talk about is sets, and I think these sets are going to be really interesting. One thing that Clash Mini, at least to me, has always struggled with from the very beginning of the game, when it came out almost 2 years ago at this point, has been onboarding new players, because the game's mechanics are not very easy to figure out for a new player. Now, if you spend a lot of time, if you grind, if you collect minis, collect heroes, and play the game a lot, of course, you'll gradually start to understand all the mechanics and how they work. But if you're a casual player and don't have that time to do it, then the onboarding process definitely right now in its current state is a little bit tedious. Maybe tedious isn't the right word. It can be a little bit confusing. I think that's the better word. Clash Mini does have a tutorial like every other Supercell game. You know, Clash Royale has that stupid tutorial that's been the same thing for 7 years. Brawl Stars has a tutorial as well. But I feel like Clash Mini's tutorial is kind of the weakest of the bunch. So the way I view sets is they work as a onboarding process for new players, in which, you know, they get like a beginner set. I think in the small talk example, it uses like a Barbarian King, Minor Barbarian Archer deck or something like that, where you have minis and heroes that are very simple in terms of concepts. So that way they can use those minis and heroes and understand the fundamentals of the game and how it works. And then as they progress, get higher in trophies, they can unlock more sets with more complex heroes, you know, maybe an Archer Queen, a Grand Warden, a Monk, a Pink Fury, and then in combo with more complex minis, things like a Bandit, a Royal Ghost, a Fisherman, things like that. And then with that, they can elevate and progress their knowledge of the game along with progressing trophies at the exact same time. If I'm looking into the mind of the Clash Mini devs, I'm picturing that's how they think it'll work. And if our minds are kind of aligned right there, then I think that's a really good system. And also, I feel like the addition of sets will help out long-term retention as well to go along with the onboarding process. The retention element comes from people getting onboarded with the first set and then seeing, oh, there's the Archer Queen. I want to play her. So let me play more games so that way I can lock the next set with her. Then after you play with Archer Queen and all the minis in her set, it could be like, oh, there's the Monk. I recognize him from Clash Royale. I want to play him in Clash Mini as well. So let me go ahead and progress and do that. Then it's like, oh, there's Natureborn. She looks really cool. She has 2 forms. What? That's pretty crazy. Oh my gosh, I want to play with her. So then they progress through the Monk set so that way they can get to the Natureborn set and so on and so forth. And then by the point they've unlocked all the sets, they're hooked on the game and they enjoy the game so much that they keep watching my videos and they subscribe to my channel. And I'm just rambling at this point, but you guys get what I mean in terms of the retention points. I hope y'all understand what I'm talking about. One thing I'm a little confused about is how sets play into the gallery system, because the way the gallery system looks, it looks like a shelf almost, where you have a shelf that contains all of your different sets and have all of your different heroes and minis. But how does the gallery play into progression? How does that play into progression besides the passive resources thing? Because I like the passive resources conceptually. I don't know how it's going to work, whether or not it functions exactly like mines and pumps and things like that from Clash of Clans. I don't know how that's going to work, but is it necessary to have a whole gallery system for just that passive progression? Because from what I take away from the small talk, the gallery is a place to display all of your sets and also get the passive progression. Never mind, now that I'm looking back at it, it also shows there's XP. So as you complete sets, you get XP for those sets. Okay, that's something I missed. Of course, they're definitely not giving us all the details because this update is probably very early in development. I really want to learn more about this whole gallery system because I think it's really cool just looking at it, and I really want to know more about this. So going back to cosmetics, in terms of the cosmetics you can get in the game right now, there are skins for both minis and heroes, there are emotes, and there are boards. But as of right now, that's it, unless I'm missing something that's like super obvious. Avatars, that's another one. Avatars, okay, let's go. But is the combination of those 4, is that going to be enough to build an entire progression system around? I think boards as an end goal definitely is a good thing. I love boards. They're my favorite thing about the game because the game looks so beautiful with the different boards. I absolutely love it. I feel like they would need to add some other cosmetic elements into this system in order to make cosmetic progression more worth it. Yes, skins are great. Yes, emotes are great. Yes, avatars are great. Yes, boards are great. But I feel like there needs to be something else in there. I don't know what exactly that would be. I really don't. I have no idea, but I'm not the developer. That's not my job. I'm just a YouTuber who profits from talking about video game online. But as a whole, I'm taking positives away from the small talk. I think the shift from power progression to cosmetic progression is super interesting. It's something Supercell's never done before, but I think Clash Mini can make it work. I like the whole system with sets and how cosmetic progression ties into that, and the whole gallery system I want to learn more on, but I'm fond of it so far. So now let's actually talk about a global release date, because I know that's why all of y'all came here for. So in past videos, I've said that this game was going to release before the end of the year, and now that's probably not going to be the case. So this update 8, it is not out as of right now. We just got the small talk about what the update is going to contain, and this is in October. So for this update, if I had to predict when it would release, now this update will probably release sometime before the end of the year. Now when exactly that'll be, whether it's November, December, I couldn't tell you, but this update will release before the end of the year. I can almost guarantee that, I hope. And then based on whether or not it's ready, they will either release it in global in March 2024, or it will be another update and then probably in Q2, which will be May or June. That's my prediction. My hope and what I think will happen will be March, because I think at this point, this update is a make or break update. The no movement update where they reworked the gameplay, that was a make or break update, and it was definitely a success because the no movement kind of simplified the mechanics of the game while making it accessible to new players, but also still keeping a certain level of high level strategy to keep it good for high level players as well. And so now that they fixed the gameplay, this update is centered around progression and fixing this issue. So I think this update, the success of this update, and how good cosmetic progression will be for the game, this will ultimately determine whether or not the game goes global. I think after this update, update 8, the next update is either the global update or the game gets shut down. I don't think anything else is happening after March 2024. I just can't see them pushing it back even more. In November, this game will be 2 years old and it would not have released. I just can't see them going beyond 8 updates without announcing a global release. I just don't see it. But based on what we know so far from the small talk, this update looks promising. It really does. It's a really unique progression system that I think will stick and land well with the Supercell community. So overall, global release, March 2024. Mark it in your calendars. You heard it from me first. This video was a massive ramble sesh, but I hope you enjoyed. Watch this video next. I'd appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next Clash Mini video. Peace out.